What is up, everybody? February 7th, 2019. This is the 13th podcast that this crew has done. We got a good show in store for you if I could fucking talk. Speak up, gentlemen.
What's up, guys? It's Brandon from snowy Minnesota.
What's up? It's Keith, Colorado. Checking in with y'all.
And I'm Jimmy Linguini. We're just giving out our locations now? I didn't. Is that just what we're doing?
Yeah, okay. In case anybody wants to.
It's crazy. It's actually snowy and like 15 degrees in Oklahoma City right now.
I don't even know what the temperature is right now in Minnesota.
It's cold as fuck over here, dude. Holy shit.
I know. I was supposed to fly into Denver, going into Wyoming, and United said, "Yeah, we're gonna let you cancel your flight for free." And I was like, "Yeah, we'll just we'll look at that Monday, see what it looks like."
That's probably a good idea.
It was like -4 in Wyoming, and that was not with wind chill and shit. And I'm like, "No, I ain't got that. I'm not going to. You can't put enough clothes in a suitcase."
Oh, hell no.
You know what I mean?
Were you gonna have to be outside at all?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I was going to have to be outside.
Yeah, fuck that, dude. Cancel.
So I was just like, yeah. And then I got to drive a truck back. So,
yeah, we took my son outside playing in the snow, and we made it about 5 minutes, and we're like, yeah, we're going inside.
It's all right. You got him a little weather to it. You know, he'll work on his toughness a little bit. He knows super cold now.
Oh yeah, I mean, he wasn't really complaining, but
I was reading. You remember this deal? Apparently, children have a hard time freezing. If you catch a child like shivering, it's because their blood sugar is low and they're hungry. But apparently, they don't have like the ability to shiver due to temperatures. You know that?
No,
I didn't know that either.
Yep. If you catch a baby shivering, it's because they're hungry and there's something to do with their blood sugar is messed up. Boom. Just remember that. You never know. It could be someone, a new parent that's saving babies. That's what we do. We're good guys. This podcast. We like to save babies. Jimmy, speaking of babies.
This is a weird beginning of a podcast. But yeah, go on. I'm listening.
Tell us some comic book stuff.
Well, I mean, this week, I guess there were 2 books that everybody seems to be jumping on. Aside from this Iron Man cover that isn't selling. It's Magical Beatdowns 1 and that Harley Quinn. What is it? Harley Quinn 58 cover B. So Magical Beatdown 1 it was a $6 book that I guess people are jumping on. It's selling for about $15 shipped. But this is like a 5th printing. So it's really weird what's going on with this one. And I obviously don't think the book's going to sustain where it's at. And a lot of people seem to have pre-ordered books. So I don't know. I think that one's not happening. But the Harley Quinn 58 cover B seems to be doing what, like $10 or $12. So that one's good. And then next week, sorry, what was that, Brandon?
I was just going to say, I'm not sure, why people are speculating so much on that Beatdown book, other than just that it was sold out at Midtown. But everybody I've heard say that they read it really, really liked it. So who knows?
Well, it had one sale on Monday. There was one sale at $20, and then that's when I guess some people started jumping on it and pushing it.
Hold on, sorry guys. This is crazy. I didn't realize Straight Jacket was going for this much all of a sudden.
Yeah, Straight Jacket was optioned this week as well.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird optioning in news.
Who does Straight Jacket?
Amigo Press.
Okay.
There's a crazy story about Straight Jacket 1 and Straight Jacket 2.
Okay, go on.
There was a certain ex-member of CBSI who did some work on that book.
Is it you?
Nope. Remember Kitty Pop?
No.
I swear to God, she did like the editing, like the grammatical and editing and shit. I think I'm joking. Swear on anything.
Huh.
That's how I knew about this book, because I got a stack of them. Because she knew the guy that wrote it or drew it, and I don't ask me what her real name is, but she actually had a credit in there.
Weird. That's cool.
Yeah. Jimmy.
Is it cool?
I want to keep Jimmy up to date.
I think it's
quite well. Who cares?
I think it's cool to see people from the community actually getting work in the comic
community.
Industry. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She wrote a lot of good
articles. Oh my God! Listen, I'm not going to get into this. Okay.
She wrote a lot of good articles.
She did write some art. I'll vouch for that. She wrote.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. There's so many things I want to say right now, but I'm not gonna, like you guys. Oh man, you guys are button pushing.
No, man. Oh, well, hey.
I don't even know how this.
I don't know what you're talking
But
about.
I don't know. I don't get this. This is weird to me. But yeah, Straight Jacket has been optioned. I'm sure she's getting money for that. Magical Beatdowns 1 has multiple
She
printings.
doesn't money from that, dude.
But well, listen, we're not talking about her, okay? Fuck. Another book though that comes out next week that has some optioning rumors is The Devil's #1 from Antarctic Press. And when it says when I say optioning rumors, like an IMDb page was set up in November. We did talk about this book, I think, in January or possibly late December, because it was supposed to come out.
I think it was
at the end of
late December.
Because it was supposed to come out and then it was delayed.
Yeah.
It's selling for $10 to $15. I don't know why. Maybe it's the Antarctic Press thing that's pushing all these books, but it's I don't know. But that book seems to be a book that you're probably going to want to try to secure at your local comic shop probably as soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think horror stuff in general is so cheap and easy for studios to make, and it's doing really, really well right now. So I wouldn't be that surprised.
Well, according to IMDb, the budget is like $5 million, so it's like tiny indie film.
Well, nobody's read it, right?
No,
well, it
no.
hasn't come out yet, right? So
Yeah,
Oh, it didn't. Oh, okay, that makes
no,
sense.
it comes out on Wednesday. This coming up Wednesday.
right.
Which again is why I mentioned it, because there are like some speculators that are already mentioning these sales. Like I saw a few people, and I think that's really what happened with this Magical Beatdowns is there was a few sales, people reported on it, and then the book started going up, and then now it's, I guess, teetering down. Still selling for double cover, but it's definitely teetering down.
So to compare, the budget for the original Saw movie was $1.2 million. So $5 million is really not that low for a horror film, depending on the setting.
How long ago was Saw though?
2004.
Yeah, so 15 years of inflation.
Yeah,
Well, this
Probably equal.
the director and writer, the director or the person who's listed as the
not a
director on
horror film.
IMDb, and the person who's listed as the writer of the comic, he has done other movies, and they are all low budget indie films. So who knows?
Yeah.
I was like, why are these guys talking about the writers of horror films? That what no one cares about. And
I
then-
completely agree with you, but the fact that the IMDb page says that movie is being directed by the writer, and it says it comes out in June, which again is also weird, and it says the page was edited in November as opposed to like last week. So I don't know. It's peculiar.
it is very peculiar.
And you would also think that like Antarctic Press would put out press releases and people would be reporting on it. So I don't get it.
So, speaking of the original Saw, I just watched Aquaman this week, which is directed by the same person. And if I recall correctly, Keith and Trey, you guys both really like that movie?
No, I think we're on the opposite sides actually.
Oh, okay. Because
I enjoyed the movie. No, I 100% enjoyed the movie. Was it a little long and a little probably? I think it was just a little bit long, but I had no issues with it.
I thought it was very, very dumb. My favorite thing is that at the beginning of the movie, his mom has all the people from Atlantis show up, and they're like, "Hey, you need to come up back with us to Atlantis." And she's like, "No," and kills all these people. And then she's like, "Okay, now I'm going to go back to Atlantis." What the fuck? Why did you kill all these people then? What are you doing? It's like they were just looking for any excuse to have an action scene in the beginning of the movie.
Oh, dude, that's the whole James Wan thing, right?
And Nicole Kidman didn't look bad doing it though. At 50, whatever she is.
No, I mean, it's dumb, and I had some dumb fun with it, but I guess I was expecting more from him, and I felt like it just the script reeked to me of the studio being like, "Oh, well, we got to do this here, and we got to throw this in, and we got to do that."
To me, it was like an 80s action movie, right? Basically.
Yeah.
And that's what I compared it to. I mean, it's fun, action, and you get a lot of special effects, and it's cool because it's Aquaman. But, other than that, it's okay.
I did think Black Manta was really cool.
Totally underused, though.
Yeah, he was. I think he's going to be like the main villain in the next movie, which I'm sure they'll make because it made all the money.
Oh, you'd have to.
Spoilers, bro.
Oh, what?
Spoilers, bro.
Dude, if you haven't seen the movie by now, fuck you.
Good for you. Fuck them.
Very, very rude to say.
I mean, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Black Manta was underused in that movie.
No. No,
Well, speaking of underused, though, rumors are coming out this week that Black
Adam?
Adam's appearing in Shazam as a cameo. So will it be The Rock?
Wow, that's really under
Or
the
will
radar,
it be
huh?
another guy?
If it's not The Rock,
I'm
it's
just
a
curious
huge disappointment for
If it's
DC.
not The Rock,
But
That-
what if
that
it's
means
not
that-
The Rock because they cast The Rock as Lobo instead?
well, no, but if it's not The Rock, that means that any plan, all the rumors about a Black Adam movie are probably not going to happen, right?
Yep.
No,
So
I can't see them putting that on anybody else's shoulders.
What do you mean?
Like they're not going to have a Black Adam movie and have Joe Schmo off the streets play.
No, that's what I'm saying. So like if it's not The Rock, there's no Black Adam movie is what I'm saying.
I would agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. Wow, that's kind of flew under the radar, huh?
I don't know if it's under the radar. I did read that and I thought it was very interesting. But
Yeah.
there were also other people rumored to be in that movie, like having little cameos that like who cares?
Oh, since we're talking about movie stuff, Trey, I know you mentioned it, but holy shit, that Hobbs and Shaw trailer looks amazing.
Does it not? I saw that, and all I could think of was like, that looks like a fun movie. It looks completely different.
Oh, it doesn't look like a Fast and the Furious movie at all.
It'll have. I mean, like I said, you saw a couple of the end. I mean, if you've seen the trailer, I mean, there's some Fast and the Furious elements to it, of course. But
Yeah.
the dynamic between those two and the first two films were really, really good, and the trailer really, really showed that. I mean,
I think the thing is they've embraced the fact that it's kind of silly and ridiculous, but that's what people like about those movies. And if they just take a full turn into that, I think it's going to be way more enjoyable.
yep, I think you're 1,000% correct.
And there won't be any Vin Diesel in it, I hope.
Oh, you fuck! You know they're giving him some kind of credit of some sort. There's no way he's not getting that.
He'll be an
$7 million
executive producer, but he's not going to have a
They'll
cameo.
they'll do that shit like they did in the Fast and the Furious Tokyo or whatever that fucking movie was called, where he pulls up at the end and shit in that car. Like, wait, how did you get your car all the way to Japan? Will you explain this to me?
Knowing that franchise,
You're
you
on the
probably-
fucking run from the law. Can you please tell me
Dude,
how you got
that's
you
real.
in your car on
You're asking answers for like from the Fast and the Furious movies. I mean, that's your
right.
That's dude, that guy is way too busy being bloodshot anyway.
You're right, man. He's all about it.
The other big thing that came out this week was, and it was a key collector exclusive, which again I don't know what that means. And
The Jeff
nobody else
Bezos
seems to be
photos?
reporting on this. No. Yeah, it's that they're making a Thunderbolts TV show. Apparently, Marvel's working on that. So Incredible Hulk 449, the first appearance, is selling.
So where's that going to show up?
No, I don't know.
Is it going to be
It
streaming?
was a key collector exclusive. There's very little information given.
I
don't
would
know.
imagine if they're making any kind of new Marvel shows right now, they're for Disney Plus.
Could be.
Because why would they be putting that on ABC or whatever else?
But again, you got to
all-
think about it because it's a villain team, right? So is that really something that Disney would push towards kids?
Yes, fuck yeah, they would. You think they
I
guys
don't-
put kids in that? No.
I think on the Disney streaming, it's not going to be like R-rated. It's going to be like PG-13 or less.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's probably not going to be something that's a good fit for ABC. It's not going to go on the Disney Channel because that's nothing but kids stuff.
They still own a part of Hulu though, like 60%.
Yeah, they do. It could be a Hulu exclusive, but if they're launching their own streaming service, why the fuck are they putting shit on another streaming service?
Because they don't want to have like Iron Fist and all that Daredevil and Punisher on the streaming service. They don't want the kind of adult entertainment, I don't think.
I think they do.
Dude,
I don't think so.
I think putting stuff on Hulu though right now makes sense because they don't have a streaming service.
Yeah,
so by
Hulu's
partnering, but right now by partnering with Hulu, they have a place to like they have these movies that are coming out and they have this media that they have no way of putting it out, so they're just putting it out on Hulu. So I think that's what they're doing right now, and they'll eventually move that over to this new streaming service.
See, I think Hulu's just like it's like going on a date with somebody and they order a fucking 7-Up. That's what Hulu is to me. It's just fucking plain. There ain't nothing good on Hulu. There's that stupid ass show about the Puritan girls that fucked the other guy's husbands, whatever it was, that won all the awards. I watch it. Horrible. Sucked ass. Don't care.
Isn't Misfits on Hulu?
I have no idea. I got a subscription.
Puritan girls that fucked a bunch of guys' husbands.
No. Yes.
You mean Handmaid's Tale?
Handmaids, dude.
Handmaid's Tale.
Oh my goodness.
Please tell me. Please tell me.
No, I
didn't
like. I
didn't
didn't think it was a.
Please tell me anything I said that was wrong.
Well, I personally, I didn't think it was a good adaptation of the book, but I mean, whatever.
No, I'm just telling you, were they not Puritan-looking fucking people banging other people's husbands?
Listen. Oh, I couldn't listen. Keith, why don't you talk to us about Batman 608 RRP?
Why is he gonna talk about it? He didn't have one. No one has one. Let's go.
Obviously, some people have them because 3 of them sold in the last few weeks, and these prices are pretty bananas. I think. I don't know.
Never owned one.
2 9.8s for 4K and 1 9.8 SS for 4.5.
Who's that? Was that a Jim Lee SS or was it like?
Yeah, I think Jim Lee. I didn't see. I assume it was Jim Lee. I didn't know if it was more than one.
And this is in the last 3 months.
3 weeks. Since January 20, 3 of them sold. Wow. So I thought that was amazing.
See, remember I had 86 of the original top 100 on the CVS.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, fuck you. That shouldn't be a surprise to you.
No, not really.
But the 608 RRP in a condition that I was comfortable buying never happened. And I looked hard. I wanted that book really, really badly. Never came up with a decent copy. It had a whole bunch of. I mean, it's a pretty black cover, and I mean it shows everything, and it's a real weird, rigid cardboard cover too, and it's tough.
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna find that book raw anymore, right?
No.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing about. I mean, I've thought this for a while, but this last wave, this last 10-year comic book wave, took a giant chunk out of barn find type situation for comics. Now, that doesn't mean that the stuff that we're buying now in 30 or 40 years or 15 years or even 10 years is not the same scenario. But I honestly think the thrift store finds and stuff like that for giant comics is few and far between, even further than they were 10 years ago. So
it's definitely getting tougher and tougher, even at cons and shows and all that shit, man.
You never see anybody with hauls anymore unless it's at some fucking random place like a Goodwill or just some place that's off the beaten path, because everything's just been.
Yeah, all the comic shops just get raided.
Yeah, you know what? I really wish the Goodwills by me weren't set up the way they are, but there's guys who are set up at shows that I set up at, where they only have books that they got from Goodwill because they work at Goodwill or their uncle works at Goodwill, and they just take all the good comics that come in. And I think that's
what it all is,
the most despicable thing ever. But that's what people are actually doing.
Why is that despicable?
Because I don't think because
they get first crack at it, man.
People are donating these books.
They can buy them. They're paying money.
So the sale goes to charity. I don't think that I just feel like the books are
that's the advantage of working there, though, right?
There's
some kind of advantage if you were going to work there. Shit, because you're working there.
I don't know.
I collect some vintage golf clubs and some things like that get pretty expensive, and you will not believe some of the finds that people have at Goodwill for some of those things. It's crazy.
Yeah, the thing is,
but it's hard to drive by Goodwill and for me to be motivated to go in there. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I get it's not for everybody.
No, it's not even that. It's just they're always fucking, they're not the most clean stores. One of those ones you walk out of there and you just feel dirty as shit if you go through anything, because everything's in there dirty and dusty as fuck.
No, that's just Oklahoma.
Yeah,
that is probably
that's
could be a lot of truth to that one, boy.
That's an incorrect statement.
Yeah, all of the Goodwills in Minnesota here are very nice and clean.
I'd say it depends where you live.
Yeah, I think in my experience with Goodwill, if you're going to a Goodwill that's right next door to a McDonald's and a gas station. It's probably in a shitty part of town and they don't have nice stuff. But if you go to like a high-end neighborhood and there's a Goodwill, they've got really nice stuff.
I agree. 100%.
I really wasn't saying that to be like joking. I was just saying like the ones around here are honest to God more like flea market type things.
Yeah.
And just really no setup to the store. I mean, it's almost like a front yard garage sale, if that makes any sense. So
I feel like that'd be a better place to find shit.
It probably is, but like I said, I mean, it's at the point where, I mean, deep into the comics, I got tired of digging and getting on my knees and going through long boxes. And
well, like you said, just digging doesn't have the results it used to because there's so many people out there that most stuff has already been picked through. But that just means there's more people out there that are into comics, more people interested in comics. And if you really want to speculate, you need to actually speculate. You can't just, only find good shit wherever it's sitting around.
Well, it also means you got to work harder, right? If you want that, to find that book or whatever, you got to go out there. People go out there every single day sometimes and search for shit. So if you're not willing to do that, you're probably going to miss out.
Yeah. So, speaking of that and about those crazy sales for the Batman RRP, I did an article this week talking about how cheap Star Wars keys are right now. Just digging through sales on eBay, there was one guy that sold a near mint raw copy of Star Wars 1, the first print. And I don't know if he canceled the sale or if the buyers canceled the sale, but he tried to auction it off 3 times in a row. And the most he ever got for it was $102.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, that book was only really selling well because of the new movies, right? So, but
that's what I mean. I think, I talked about it a little bit in my article, but I think the sentiment on Star Wars is really, really low right now, like historically low. Because Solo didn't do well at the box office and a lot of people were disappointed by it. And The Last Jedi was so derisive among Star Wars fans that half the population is like, no, I'm done with Star Wars. Like, I'm pissed. But I don't think that's going to keep up. I think once the new movie comes out, everybody's going to be back on board with the bandwagon. Everybody was so excited and that book was selling so well after The Force Awakens. So I think J.J. Abrams knows exactly what he needs to do to make the fans happy. And if that's what happens, these prices are going to turn right back around.
So what were 9.8s going for?
Right now?
Yeah.
I could pull up my article, but they're really cheap too.
Yeah. And before, like right after the movie, do you know?
They were, I think they were hitting close to $1,000, weren't they at one point?
I think more than that even.
Yeah.
Here, let me pull it up. It's good podcasting right here.
I mean, the thing with Star Wars is they come out with these trailers, and the trailers look good, and that's what gets you excited. And then the books start selling well, and then the movie comes out, and they're bad, and the books plummet. So I think if the trailers come out for this new one and they start getting a positive reaction, I would definitely think about selling.
It's definitely cyclical, like everything else is.
Yeah, so I mean, that's just movie spec in general. If you have the copies when the trailer hits, you should be selling them then. But yeah, 9.8s were going around $1,500 for a while, and now they're like, about $800 for a 9.8.
Oh yeah, now's the time to buy, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think this is a great time, and it's not just Star Wars 1. What is it? Star Wars 42. First Boba Fett. I know they're doing the Mandalorian series for Disney Plus. I think that's probably a good bet right now.
Yep, I love that book.
Yeah, I think the cover's kind of lame, but people are so excited by Boba Fett. Everybody loves Boba Fett, especially in the Star Wars community. And my favorite one that I point out to everybody is Star Wars 2. I think nobody ever really talks about that book.
Han Solo?
Yeah, it's Han Solo, it's Chewbacca, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's a ton of first appearances in that, but nobody ever really talks about it.
I know, that book totally gets overshadowed.
Well, CGC doesn't put anything on the labels for that first run of Star Wars comics. All it says is part 2 of the adaptation of the Star Wars movie. Like, who gives a shit about that?
Does the first one say first appearance?
No, all it says is part 1 of the adaptation of the movie.
Yeah, it's weird because the comic came out before the movie.
Right. And issue 2, I did a little bit of research, and from what I can find, issue 2 even came out like 2 weeks before the movie.
Yeah, that's the weirdest part about the CGC labels on that one.
Yeah, it's very weird. And the coolest thing I found out researching that was Stan Lee actually got offered the rights to publish Star Wars comics like 2 years before the movie came out.
Yeah, well, that's how the toys were too, though, right? Like right before the movie came out, they're already releasing toys.
But yeah, who was going to publish the comic?
Marvel was going to publish the comics, and he initially said no because he wasn't sure if it was going to be popular. And he got, I think he paid them like $7,000 for the rights, and then they could renegotiate after they had 100,000 copies sold, because he didn't think they were going to sell that many. But they sold like that many copies of the first issue, and by then the movie had come out, and they were like, "No, we want way more for the rights." So he fucked up.
So what's up with the Batman Beyond movie? Talking about movies.
Did they scrap that shit? I thought.
I don't even know if it was ever in development. That's kind of a weird
rumor. It kind of grew some legs because of it.
Yeah, I know Jimmy talked about how much he doesn't really trust Humberto Ramos, but
yeah, I think it's still up in the air. I mean, I think both ways it's still up in the air. I mean, we have a guy who's given us false information about movies before, saying that it's not happening. But so I don't know.
I know
maybe it isn't happening. Maybe it is happening. I don't know. But I definitely don't trust anybody in that situation. So.
The thing is, like, whether it's happening or not, I think that book is on an upward trend, and it will continue to be on an upward trend. So if there's a bunch of people dumping it right now, it's probably a good time to buy anyway.
Yeah, but didn't it go up really high?
Yeah, it did.
When the rumors went up? Yeah, so it's just kind of coming down. So
I'd probably
still steer away from it for a little while.
I think we even mentioned on...
Yeah, we mentioned it last week.
Well, yeah, we mentioned the movie news last week, but I think I might have... I know at the very least I mentioned in an article like probably either October or November how well issue 1 of that series was selling in 9.8. So it's gonna sell well regardless.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, that's a book that's been on the turn since I think the DC started doing the New 52 #1 series. That's when it started going from like $1 book to a $10 book, and then it started doing what it's doing now.
Yeah, I know, and there's been a lot of talk about people getting confused about the free giveaway version. It's so easy to spot. It has a blank UPC code. That's really all you need to look for.
I would just assume that they're confused because they don't understand which came first. Not really confused about the difference, but I don't know. It is a weird situation because there's also the Six Flags one, right?
Six Flags, yep.
Yeah, so there's like
3 different ones.
Yeah, a few variations of that one edition, and then of course there's the direct edition. So.
I think that's the one to buy, but
oh, for sure.
I got a comic book spec for you guys.
Okay.
Wonder Woman Volume 2, number 105. That has a pretty significant first appearance that rarely ever gets talked about. Created by Mr. John Byrne himself, and that is Cassie Cassandra Sandsmark herself, aka the newest Wonder Girl and a fixture in the Young Justice storyline. Very, very popular character. My niece asked me about her yesterday. I had to look into her a little bit. I said, she said, that's my favorite superhero. So I thought that was very interesting. So I looked up the character, and she has, if you go and look, there's a couple copies on eBay and 9.8, but the book is not indicated as the first appearance by CGC. So
can't you just like email CGC and tell them they
right?
Should put
Yeah, you can. It's just like I said. It's just this is one of those ones where, yeah, no, it's kind of like the Green Lanterns. Once you start watering them down, I obviously they get less and less valuable regardless of what it is. But with her being in the Young Justice thing, I think she's gonna have a future in the DC universe. So
is that her on the cover, or is that just some kid?
I don't know. Fuck, I haven't read it.
Kind of looks like a boy. It has a pink shirt, so I don't know.
You know, John Byrne might have been to his time. There might be a transgender. Don't judge, Keith.
I don't judge anybody, dude.
I know you're from Denver.
Actually, from Hawaii, but
Oh, you live in Denver. Sorry, excuse me.
Is Denver like notoriously non-judgmental or something?
I don't know. There's a huge LGBT community and all that shit. You know, we're all fucking cool around here.
All right.
The last time I drove through there were people on a street corner holding up signs saying pedophilia, love is love. I shit you not. I wish I was joking.
I don't know if I agree with that, but you know.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's it.
No, I know I don't agree with that.
We're not the wild, wild west.
Fucking craziness.
Podcast is taking a weird turn. Weird podcast.
Usually that gives you superpowers. Usually the weirder it gets, like the louder you get.
I mean, I don't know what we're doing.
But anyway, those 10105s are pretty easy to find. I think it's worth a grab. So,
you know,
what is the character's name?
Cassie.
Wonder Girl.
It's Wonder Girl. Yeah,
right.
The one she was raised by Wonder Woman and was
Zeus fucked the paleontologist.
Is the only friend of Dick Grayson, and
No, I think Young Justice spec is probably good spec. I think, God, when does Doom Patrol come out?
15th, next Friday.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say I know it's coming up pretty quick, but I think as DC Universe kind of rolls out more content, more people will start to subscribe, and we'll see some movement based on stuff that's on there.
Hey, when does that Titans finale come out? Because I saw a trailer for that.
I thought Trey said that was actually going to be the first episode of season 2, but maybe they changed their mind.
Yeah, I saw a trailer where it said the season finale, and then it had a whole trailer about a season finale where Robin fights Batman.
Yeah,
that was the finale.
No, it's like...
Yeah, it is. Trust me. I paid to watch it.
When did it come out? I'm asking you when it came out. So
it didn't end.
It didn't end with him being possessed by.
Did you watch the first part of the episode?
Obviously. Okay, never mind. I don't know.
Because he was in a hallucinogenic state. That's why he was fighting Bruce.
Yeah.
But I think what Jimmy is saying is that there's another episode after that.
Yeah, there's supposed to be, but they're making it the first episode of season 2.
Okay. Well, anyway, speaking of shit on TV, we had some Super Bowl trailers this week. I know Jimmy pointed this out in the Week in Review article, but apparently that Captain Marvel trailer uses the title from which run was it, Jimmy?
It's like the second volume of Captain Marvel, or Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel, from I think it's 2014.
Yeah, 2014.
It's that.
She has the mohawk, right? And then the fist is in the air.
Yeah, it's that one.
It's that Daft Punk phrase. You know what I mean?
No, that's harder, better, faster, stronger.
Yeah, I know, but like they obviously homaged it with this faster, stronger thing that they did.
Come on, guys, that's a Kanye song.
Yeah,
no, fuck that Kanye song.
I don't think the book's gonna move. I just thought it was interesting that they did that. I don't know, like, does that mean that the whole movie is based on the second run? I don't know. I think there's elements from the second run that might be valuable in speculation words of like valuable and like in what the movie's based on, not valuable cash wise. But I don't know. I just thought that was something.
$3 book.
What's that?
That book probably sells for like cover.
Yeah, that's what you would think. It sells for $40 to $50.
Whoa, what?
The first print of this, the first print of number 1 of the second volume. Not a first appearance by any means. Sells for $40 to $50.
Well, fuck. I think that's more relevant information for the podcast than
no. It doesn't. Not because of the trailer.
No, I know that. I had no idea.
I thought
that was really weird too.
That other one before it sells pretty good too.
Yep.
The volume 1, right?
Yeah.
So
I
mean, you can sell those for $20 all day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it has really no relevance, really, but it's just, the first run of that Captain Marvel.
Well, apparently Marvel's strategy of printing all the number 1s has worked. But I mean, I can't think of anything else that it would be. But anyway, did everybody watch that Avengers Endgame TV spot?
Yeah, I didn't think there was anything really new in it. Was there something new in it that I didn't see?
Well, there was a lot of speculation online about some scenes being photoshopped in that trailer. which is something that Marvel does a lot. There is one shot where they're all standing on a lawn, like looking up in the air, I'm assuming at a spaceship or something, and it looks like somebody has been edited out of that frame. And then again, when they're all kind of like marching through that airplane hangar or whatever, it looks like there's somebody in the line who's been edited out. So I don't know if there's a character who's going to appear in the movie. Yeah, if you watch it, like there's a shot and everybody is standing close together, and then all of a sudden there's a gap. So
holy shit! I'm seeing it right now. So I see the still frame.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
So, and they do that a lot in their trailers to kind of mislead people. But if there's a character in that shot who people don't realize is going to be in the movie, they'll take them out. Honestly, my guess right now is just that it's Captain Marvel, but they don't want to reveal what she's going to look like or how she fits into the story just yet. But there's chance that it's somebody else who we haven't seen in the MCU yet who's going to make their first appearance in this movie.
That's interesting.
So I don't know. Maybe Nova shows up in the Captain Marvel movie, and then he's going to be in Endgame as well. Who knows?
Fuck.
Nova, huh?
I'm glad I was lazy last week. If that's the case.
I mean, who knows what other cosmic characters are they going to be introducing in that movie? You know, because if there's somebody new, I'm sure it's not going to be somebody who's just hanging out on Earth.
Now that I think about it, it makes more sense if it was Ant-Man.
Yeah, that's what everybody keeps pointing to, right?
Yeah, people say that, but Ant-Man's in the trailer already, so why would they need to hide him being there?
But didn't he die? That's what I keep hearing. Didn't he die or something?
Ant-Man? No.
No, Ant-Man was in the
quantum realm,
right? Quantum realm, yeah.
Oh.
He was like
got trapped
hypothetically
there.
trapped.
I think it was bar and away the best end credit scene of all time.
Oh, that was great.
With
but like they showed
running, it's beautiful.
Yeah, but they showed Ant-Man like waving to the security cameras and
right in the
first
van
scene never released. So like everybody already knew that Ant-Man was going to be in the movie. So why hide that? You know?
Yeah, but didn't a lot of people think that was in a time machine? I don't know. Hell, I don't know what I'm thinking.
No,
well, I did see a cool theory today too that some of the shots that they used in trailers for Infinity War that didn't actually make it into the movie are actually shots from Endgame. That's probably bullshit, but who knows?
Do you guys think Jimmy is going to cry in the theater?
I don't think he's going to go to see it in the theater.
I haven't seen any of these Avenger movies. I tried to watch the first one and I turned it off after 20 minutes. I haven't watched any of them. I think they're all trash. I don't understand how people are so obsessed over it.
I agree. No, they're good.
But I mean, enjoy yourself. I like terrible movies. So I mean,
I enjoy the movies.
Really? They're fun. They're good.
I enjoy them, but they're not fucking good movies by any. I mean, like I said, they're more watchable and palatable than the DC movies, but they're literally. I think they're worse written. They're just better acted and directed.
I would probably agree with that for the most part.
Some of them are good. Some of them aren't that good, right?
But like I said, that I mean, the cool part about it. I mean, I will say this: like the original cast, the Avenger cast with Robert Downey and those guys. I mean, those guys can't do no wrong, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm as excited about Endgame as I've ever been about any movie. So
I'm super excited about that.
Hell yeah, dude.
But what everybody really needs to take away from this situation is that the most popular series of movies in the world, probably Jimmy doesn't like them, but even he likes Titans. So if you haven't seen Titans, you need to.
What's the most popular franchise in history?
Oh,
what? Star Wars.
No, I think it's the MCU at this point.
No, cool. For a second, I thought you were going to go down a different path for a second there.
No, I'm just saying, like,
even predicting what you're going to say, and I thought, based on everything I've known about this podcast and you guys, I thought you were going to say Fast and the Furious.
Oh,
so I'm actually completely relieved that you didn't say that.
Hey, I got one more thing on Captain Marvel. So if you guys picked up the free Marvel preview this week, it actually has the poster to the Captain Marvel movie on it. Pretty cool, and it was free.
Boom, motherfuckers! Free spec.
Actually, I've been looking at like some random free issues, and a lot of them sell really, really well. So don't leave those behind at your comic shop.
It's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, I think that's a great book.
Captain Marvel 4 books came out this week that were dollar books, like True Believer dollar books, and they all seem to be selling for like $3 to $4 online.
Oh, good God. Those books are ridiculous. Like, if they've got them at your comic shop, just buy all of them if they'll let you.
I mean, I know like a lot of people are following, a lot of people in speculation are just following what sells out on Midtown, but they were sold out on Midtown like weeks ago, and I don't know what that means. Because again, they're dollar books, so you would think that Midtown, if anybody, would have ordered thousands of them.
But that's what I mean. Like, if you're paying attention, people buy those books for like $5 a piece. So just buy all of them.
And if you pre-order too, right? You can pre-order this shit.
Yeah, so you can get their 30% discount or whatever. You get them for 70 cents.
30-40% off, dude.
It's not. It sounds like it wouldn't be a lot of money, but if you order 100 of them and you sell them all for $5, you're making good money.
That's a good point.
That's true. It's a grind, man. It's a grind.
Jimmy.
So the other option news this week was that Hulu is developing a Motor Girl series. Does anybody know what that is, or think it's?
What, you don't know Motor Girl?
No.
Yeah, did you just get into speculation? Yeah, I have so many copies of that. I'm happy with it. Yeah, Terry Moore tweeted out that he's working on the pilot, whatever that means. So yeah, I don't know. I would think that isn't Rachel Rising supposed to be happening too, though. So. And what was the other one? Strangers in Paradise. So you would think that Strangers in Paradise or Rachel Rising would come before.
Yeah, see, those I know.
But I don't know. So, and I feel like he already wrote the pilots for those ones. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening with this. He definitely tweeted this out, but I don't know if the book is moving, but I think it would be great if it does.
Wow.
I can't say I ever even heard of Motor Girl, but okay.
I never found a Sippin' Wild first print one.
Exactly.
That was one of the ones I always wanted to look for. Always never found that, and that one with the what was it, Spectre, the first appearance of Mr. Terrific.
I don't know.
Never found that one.
But yeah, Motor Girl came out in a few years ago, and it was after Rachel Rising ended, so it was pretty obvious that it was going to be as big, if not bigger than Rachel Rising, and it was self-published by Abstract Studios.
Here's a question.
Came out in 2016.
Is Rachel Rising bigger than Jimmy Neutron?
Ooh, can anything be bigger than Jimmy Neutron?
What does that even mean?
What do you mean?
How is that? Go on. Like, where are you going with this?
I ask you a question.
How is that even a question?
You don't ask me questions. I ask you questions.
Well, Jimmy Neutron isn't a comic. It's like a pop culture icon. It isn't. No.
Would you like me to show you a Jimmy Neutron comic book?
I'm not saying he doesn't have comics, but
you just said it's not a comic book.
Do you have them like with you?
So I don't get this. I don't see how they're comparable in any way. But
The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron volume. Yeah. I mean, there's multiple volumes.
What
Jimmy,
came
this
first?
is what you
do.
Came
first, the book or the movie?
This is the problem with Jimmy, guys. He's one of those guys. It's like he listens to underground music and shit, and when someone else starts liking a band he likes, he shits on everything else. Jimmy Neutron's a legit comic book, Jimmy.
How am I
trying to fucking feed their families and shit. And
I knew you were going like some crazy place with this. I don't know what's going on.
No, Jimmy wasn't shitting on anything. Come on,
Jimmy, no.
I just don't understand how they're.
How are we gonna get people on here to interview if you just keep shitting on all their work, man?
I don't.
All I'm getting out of this is that Trey thinks I should buy the first appearance of Jimmy Neutron.
Who shouldn't?
What is the first appearance of Jimmy
Neutron? Are they
Neutron?
making another movie? Is it Toy Story? Like, listen, I went through all my books. I've said this numerous times. I went through every one of my books that I have left over. I found all my Toy Story comics. I looked up those. They sell for nothing. I found all my.
He looked them up like he didn't.
I found my Michael Jordan Space Jam comic sells for nothing. These books, nobody cares about these books. So I just don't understand how Jimmy Neutron, who has no movies coming out, has no new TV shows coming out, has any spec worthiness. I don't understand.
Let me ask you a question: who's the more popular character, Jimmy Neutron or the lead character from Straight Jacket?
It's unquestionable that the answer is Jimmy Neutron. How is this like? How is?
Did you shut the fuck up?
Okay, wait.
You listen to words coming out of your mouth.
That was a shitty. That was a shit poll, by the way.
Yo, Jimmy, if you want to send that Space Jam comic to me, like, I would appreciate that.
Jimmy will send you a link from eBay. I promise you that.
I almost bought one the other way just for shits and giggles, but I didn't.
So what's up with Deadly Class?
Oh yeah, I really like that show. My wife and I have been watching it. It's really retro, so I guess it fits in with all that nostalgia that everybody is loving right now. But I'm having a good time with it.
By the way, guys, this is an interruption for EA Comics, who supplied a Deadly Class variant. If you guys don't have one, you should pick one up now.
Wait, seriously?
No. I don't EA Comics.
What EH Comics.
You need to carry on. Like,
who's
EA?
EA's like Electronic Arts, dude. What's that, a video game?
That's what I was thinking.
I was a little fucked up. I was thinking like the old NHL intro and shit. And
EA Sports.
It's in the game.
I'm sure I was going with it originally, boys. Took a different turn.
Let's talk about sports. I guess people did not like the Super Bowl.
Oh man, it was terrible.
How did they not like it? They got to watch the fucking GOAT get him another ring to put on a dick.
Yeah, but he played like shit the whole game.
Yeah, that was like the Manning farewell game.
Yeah, everybody played terrible in that game except for Edelman
and Sony Michel.
Sony Michel. Here's the thing, I talked about this with Keith a little bit earlier in the week, but Sony Michel has the record now for most postseason touchdowns by a rookie, and I think he's ahead by 2, if I remember correctly. So it's probably going to stand for a while. And I know, as he put it, most spec on sports cards is based on the future, but I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, especially because Rex Burkhead and James White are getting a little bit older, and God knows Rex Burkhead can't stay healthy to save his life.
Well, you ain't lying about fucking Rex Burkhead.
Oh God, it's like twice a year he gets injured.
I'm just not a huge fan of running backs in the sports hobby, but I don't know. I don't know shit about football right now.
I disagree, and it's because of a unique scenario. The New England Patriots fans collect those teams' cards better than any other fucking franchises, without question. And have you watched after the Super Bowl the amount of Sony Michel cards that fucking flew off? And it's like I said last week, if you take out, granted he was a little shy of 1,000 yards, but he was injured most of he had no preseason. Yeah, he was in. If you compare his numbers, he had better numbers than Saquon Barkley.
Well, and the comparison I made even was like, I think I was watching Sony Michel rookie autos go for like $50-$60, and Philip Lindsay autograph rookie cards were going for like $500.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay made the Pro Bowl. He averages more yards per carry, man. And that's important for a running back, I think.
Look, I am a huge Broncos fan. There is no way in hell that he will repeat those yards per carry at any point in the future. It's a fluke.
He's a super explosive player, though. He gets chunk yardage. And that's how you raise your yards per carries. You get those big chunk yards.
But I guess we'll see. They're going to have a new coach next year, so it might make a huge difference. But he was never on the field during 2-minute drills because,
can't block.
I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Even if he can't block, like their offense in the 2-minute drill this year was fucking terrible.
What's because their quarterback terrible?
I don't think he was. I think
he's garbage. Case of garbage.
I think he is.
He had one lucky season in Minnesota and fucking.
But the thing is,
got his money.
He doesn't need to be amazing. He just needs to be passable. And I think the play calling was chicken shit.
Could be. The coach sucked.
Like it is. I like it.
I don't know. I don't follow the Broncos. I live here. It's funny. I don't follow the Broncos that closely, though. So
I watch almost every game this season.
You're a Bears guy, right?
I am a Bears fan.
That's right.
Here's how you know the play calling in Denver was chicken shit this year. At one point, the last game in the season where they needed to win to make the playoffs, they were down by 4 with 2.5 minutes to go, and they kicked a fucking field goal.
And that's why Vance got fired.
They lost by 1 point. If you
fucking idiot,
already guess where the game went.
Dude, everybody in town hated him. So, but to be fair though, people are getting tired of John Elway too. But he's got a lot of power.
Shit. Really?
I don't think John Elway needs to go.
He's got a lot. Dude. People are saying that they don't like him here.
The only
the Paxton Lynch thing killed him.
Yeah,
that would set you back at least 5 years when you draft the quarterback first and it doesn't pan out.
He's made some bad decisions as far as quarterbacks.
Yeah, you can't fucking evaluate a quarterback and you're a Hall of Fame quarterback. Think about that. Speaking of quarterbacks, though, how's these optic packs showing up at Walmart and showing up online? So people are freaking hunting for Patrick Mahomes.
Fuck yeah! You know, one of our guys are gonna pull some monster. I just been waiting for it. I do too. I love it when but shout out to Nick Hart too. He's doing some really fun videos with some sports card stuff that people seem to be enjoying. So
he's opening packs like you do, Trey. But
that crazy cat him.
But yeah, I checked. I didn't see those cards at any Walmarts near me. But
yeah, I went to and I didn't see them either. I might just order some from David Adams tonight or something.
You know, I was tempted, but I think before I do all that, I probably will just buy a couple. You know, buy the individual cards.
I like busting packs.
I do too, but I don't have enough money to guarantee myself a Mahomes rookie.
Yeah, you won't.
That's a good point too.
Yep. Buying singles is a smart thing to do.
I think, watching their last game this year, I was pretty disappointed in how Mahomes played, but he's still so young. He's got a long career ahead of him.
Yeah, and there's no way he's going to throw for 50 touchdowns again, you know?
Well, he doesn't need to, really. If they win the Super Bowl, people will be just as happy.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought there's an interesting trade in basketball today. Marc Gasol of the Grizzlies got shipped out of town, which means that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to get more play.
And that is a good thing for people who listen to this podcast because he lit Oklahoma City up tonight before the old podcast started. I don't know what he ended up with, but he had 20 at half. And, I mean, he was shooting threes. He was doing everything. He is a complete player. Really excited about that guy. This year's rookie class, like Keith has talked about multiple times, is just off the charts. So much talent. And a lot of people forget that, you know, the situations with like Steph Curry and James Harden, a lot of those players didn't develop into the players they are now until year 3, 4, and in some cases 5. So don't give up on your basketball speculation after year 1, year 2 if you see something in one of these guys, because it takes a little bit of time for some of these young guys to pan out. One that I'm super, super gung-ho on, and it's a little bit of a homer situation, but it's Terrence Ferguson. He was the youngest player drafted in the NBA last year. He was born in Tulsa, played a year, didn't go to college, but he played a year professionally in Australia. Played sparingly last year as an 18-year-old. This year's a 19-year-old. He's been starting for the Thunder, and he absolutely has a beautiful stroke, and he's a two-way player. He's already our second-best defensive player on our team behind Paul George, and he's only 19 years old. I think once Russ and George, you know, set sail 2 or 3 years down the road, he's going to take over the team, and I'm super excited about him. And you can still pick up some of his RPAs. There's only 150 of them, the National Treasures, in the $100 to $150 range, and it's just fucking steal. The other card that I picked up a couple is the Jake Layman National Treasures. He's a backup and playing for Portland. White dude, played at Maryland. He's been coming off the bench and lighting it up in Portland. So there was a really great 4-color patch opportunity I had on a vertical RPA on COMC, and I picked it up, and his card's been going up ever since. So
nice, man, nice. I mean, if you guys listened to Trey earlier, here's the first guy on Jaren Jackson Jr.
The other thing too is I'd also like to give a special thanks to a podcast listener. I was sent. I don't know if he wants to be named or not, so I'm going to leave him nameless at the time. But he sent us a giant box of baseball card supplies, Ultra Pro stuff, the best, one touches, everything, the magnets, you name it, we got it. So Keith and I are going to come up with a little bit of giveaway, and something like I said, we're going to send some of the stuff to Heartless and Jacob and Jesse and all the guys that have been doing some breaks and stuff for us. So if they do pull a monster, they can use those one touches and things like that to put them in. So special thanks again to that to our buddy. And if you want to be named, I'll name you next week. But I think me and the guys appreciate it. So
way cool, man.
It's fun. The sports card stuff's fun, man. And it pissed me off seeing other people steal shit as usual and following our footsteps.
No one's stealing.
Not necessarily stealing, but copying and following the footsteps. But it's fun. Like I said, it's something different.
And what I was gonna say about the Batman RRP earlier, $4,000 seems like a lot. We're saying, wow, this comic sold for $4,000. But if you look at these freaking modern card, what they call them parallel sales, way more than 4,000, then there's a ton of them.
Yep.
Yeah, there was, I mentioned I was looking at Philip Lindsay rookie cards. There was like a playoff ticket autograph variant that there were 2 of them on eBay, and both of them went for over $2,000 this week.
Wow. Is that Contenders? Yeah, football Contenders, man.
Yeah, and I was looking at him and I'm like, man, I love Philip Lindsay and I was really happy with him this year, but I'm not paying that much money for a rookie card.
It's crazy. There's so much people with a lot of money in sports cards. It's pretty insane right now.
Well, the thing about sports cards is that like the market is so completely different than comic books. Yes. I love comic books and I tell everybody they should get into comic books, but it's still a pretty niche market. But even people who really don't care that much about football watch the Super Bowl. Like everybody is aware of everything going on in football. Everybody's aware of everything going on.
I don't think that's accurate actually.
Because football, it's American.
I don't know how anybody really watched the Super Bowl when the Lifetime channel was streaming all of the original movies from the Twilight series. I just don't get it. Team Jacob all the way, guys.
I'm not surprised that you're Team Jacob.
It's probably why you're single too.
No, my wife tried to get me to watch those.
Who knows what that means? One of us might think that that's just a phrase that people use, but apparently 2 people have seen the movies and understand what that phrase means. That's what you need to think about. Yeah.
Who's the 2 people? You and who?
And me.
No, Brandon and Trey, who just said, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Like that's supposed to be anything. Keith over here has no idea what that means.
I have no fucking clue, dude.
He's in the same sphere that I'm in. It's a funny phrase.
I'm sorry that you guys
actually watched Twilight, so there you go.
We read it, motherfucker. Brandon and I we read, assholes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I believe that.
Yeah,
reading your fucking GPUs.
I can prove I've read more comics this year than you have, asshole. Cat, got your tongue?
Yeah, okay. So I'm supposed to believe that you've read Twilight? Okay.
I actually did.
First of all, who admits to reading Twilight?
No, I had surgery, and my sister read them, and she would read one, and when I was in the hospital, she'd bring it up to me. So that's fucking true story, factual.
I mean, all those like Divergent and the Hunger Games and all that shit I read.
But you guys know about Jimmy's against people in hospital and sick children in hospital. You guys just caught that too, right? That's what I thought.
It's a Canadian thing.
It is. Fucking evil guy.
Hey, what kind of obscure autographs you got for us this week, Trey?
All right, so Beckett had a pretty amazing article this week talking about obscure autographs, like, outside the box stuff. And one that really kind of got my wheels turning was you remember the show Alias with Jennifer Garner?
Oh, fuck yeah, I love that show.
Well, do you also remember that, what's his name? Cooper.
Cooper.
Who?
Yep.
Brandon Cooper.
Bradley
Cooper was on that show. Well, He had an autograph card on there. And I was just going, and it's amazing at some of the actors from some of the movies or TV series that are actually out there. And then I started looking at some again on some obscure sports cards, and there are some really, really good values on there on some stuff that you wouldn't believe is as low as it is. I'll just say that. So
I always see those Stranger Thing cards, and I'm wondering, I wonder if there's autographs in there.
Dude, I forget who it was. Someone wrote an article. It's way too late evening about the Game of Thrones cards.
Yeah, I remember that.
He's so dead on. Those things are going to be fucking gold for decades and decades after this show.
I know you've mentioned it before, and I completely agree. The Game of Thrones comic books are good spec, and I don't understand why people don't buy them.
Oh, they did for a little bit when I talked about them, and they stopped. But there are some great covers, and especially, I mean, there's just people are going to hold on to that stuff.
If you get like any kind of opportunity to get an SS on those books, I think they're going to be worth money.
Oh God, that's a really good point. Has any of those people signed anywhere, Jimmy? Any of the bigger actors?
George R.R. and all the other ones.
No, not him.
No, he's the writer.
I don't want.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge.
That's huge. I would.
And then all the actors have signed too. What you got to remember is it works in a cycle. Like all the
you got to get Jon Snow and Khaleesi on a book.
All the Walking Dead actors were very hyped up at one point, but now everybody does.
You know what though? I take that back.
Ben Affleck does Comic Cons. Even Alan Moore signs books now for CGC. So I mean, everybody has a price, and these Game of Thrones guys, it won't. Once the show's over, once these guys stop having like these great acting appearances, once people stop noticing them as much in the public, you're going to see there's going to be Game of Thrones cons, and these guys are going to really need money, and there will be these like a lot like these Supernatural cons that go on now where all the actors show up.
Something big happened with Supernatural. I kept seeing something on my feed. Do you guys watch that show?
No.
I can ask my wife. What's going on with Supernatural? Was there some big news this week? No, she hasn't heard anything.
300th episode.
Oh, okay.
Holy crap! They got 300 pieces. That
show is never going to end.
Is it just those two really bad actors that chase vampires around?
Yeah.
Still,
I hear you, man.
Oh.
I'll give him credit. 300 is a lot, man.
It is. I mean, I tip my cap to him, but
they're doing something right.
They had that one, the one actor that, and the dad that was played by the actor from Game of Thrones that went crazy and ran off the cliff at the tower. Remember he went mad?
No.
I think Jimmy knows.
Oh yeah,
I don't watch that shit.
You don't watch Lord of the Rings?
No, I haven't watched neither of those have I watched.
Because like I said, it's too cool. Jimmy's got to be that band and listen to underground music that no one else likes. And when
why would I want to watch Game of Thrones? I want you to just think it through. I think it through.
Because everyone in that world is talking about it, and you.
I
know Jimmy doesn't conform to society. He's such a bad boy.
Doesn't sound like something that would be up my alley.
What?
I don't watch
Mike Tyson Mysteries, on the other hand.
That is a great show.
What show?
Mike Tyson Mysteries.
You know what? I think you would really like, Jimmy. Drago on Mountains We Stand.
What is that? What is that? Is that an episode of Game of Thrones?
No, it is a book that was written about what happened to Ivan Drago after Rocky IV.
What? Why would Jimmy? Tell me about that. Jimmy doesn't fucking want to know about that.
No, Jimmy would love it.
No, he wouldn't. He's never even seen Rocky IV. Are you kidding me?
So I'm pretty sure I know that one song from it. Living in America or whatever.
You're not wrong.
But aside from that, I never got into the Rocky movies. Rambo, didn't really get into those. Cobra, I really got into Cobra.
I believe you.
But Cobra, that's because, again, Cobra's terrible. I like terrible movies. And that's why I probably didn't get into Game of Thrones.
But Rocky IV is...
It's the craziest movie ever.
Yeah, again, I like terrible things. So Cobra, right up my alley. Rocky, Rambo, not as much.
I don't care who you are. If you have any American blood running through your veins, at any point in time, if Rocky IV comes on, you watch minimum 15 minutes. Okay. I don't care if you're on your way to your wedding. You're watching 15 minutes of it. It's just fucking how it is.
Well,
I dare you not to have a beer in that 15 minutes.
So anyway, this book, there was a podcast made about it. It's called Drago on Mountains We Stand. And these guys were doing a podcast about movies, and they came across the Wikipedia entry for Rocky IV. And the Wikipedia page mentioned that there was the novel written as a sequel called Drago on Mountains We Stand, and it was listed as Todd Noy's final masterpiece. So these guys were like, who the fuck is Todd Noy, and who wrote a book about the villain from Rocky IV? And I think there's 7 episodes, and they just go and try to track down the guy who wrote this book. It's fucking ridiculous, and it was one of the most interesting things I've listened to in a long time.
And it sounds awesome.
The book, you can, I can get you a copy if you want, Trey. But the book is, I think it's 85 pages, if I remember correctly.
It's in my range.
That's all Drago's worth. 85 pages.
85 pages, and if I remember correctly, there's 92 chapters in those 85 pages.
Makes sense.
It's the weirdest book that has ever existed.
Is it valuable?
I don't think so. I've listened to the whole podcast, and I mean, if anybody's really interested, there is a Facebook page for the book, and if you message the Facebook page about how much you love Todd Noy, they will offer to send you a copy of the book in exchange for
information.
They need your address, and if I remember correctly, £15. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, so it's really cool. People should check out the podcast and check out that book.
Yeah, that sounds cool. What are SCG IQ results? What's that about?
So for Magic the Gathering, the biggest retailer online is called Star City Games, and they hold really big tournaments. Outside of the, I guess you'd call them official Wizards of the Coast tournaments, they have the biggest tournaments. And this weekend, the winner was a deck that I actually talked about in my article about what I think was going to happen after KCI got banned.
Boom!
Amulet Titan is the name of the deck. But what was interesting is the guy who won actually kind of transitioned to an old version of the deck that relied more on a card called Hive Mind. Hive Mind is currently selling for about $2, somewhere between $2 and $2.50, and the foils are about $7. And at the peak of its popularity, foil copies were going for about $30. So if that picks up steam again, I think that's going to be a really good investment down the road. The other big news as far as Magic the Gathering goes is up in Jimmy's neck of the woods in Toronto. There's going to be a Grand Prix this weekend, the first modern Grand Prix since they banned KCI. So that'll give us a.
What does that mean? What is that? Like, what is that, like a convention? What's a Grand Prix of Magic?
A Grand Prix it's kind of like in the sports world, it'd be like a playoff tournament, I guess. Like, it's not the Super Bowl or anything like that, but it is kind of the stage leading up to it.
So it's like a satellite for like poker or something, you know?
Yeah. So they're really, really huge tournaments. Most of the pro players will play in those tournaments. So the results from those will give you a good idea of what decks are going to be good moving forward. So they're really good to watch for speculation.
How do you decide how you're going to build a deck? I mean, what goes into that thought process?
Well, most people these days just kind of copy what professionals are doing by looking at deck lists online. But there are some people that, will take the time to make something original on their own. There's, 60 cards in a deck, and you kind of figure out how you want to win. So like that Hive Mind card that I mentioned is basically just used to kind of win the game right away in a goofy way, but more often than not, you try to do 20 damage to your opponent.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I know that does sound like a pretty powerful card, right, Trey?
No, I was just looking, and I totally should. When I was at the Target and I bought the Primal Age that we talked about last week, I had access to buy one of the Primal Age Batcaves, and I just saw one sold for $120 a couple days ago.
Yeah, but how much are they in store? Aren't they pretty expensive?
$55. So,
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, that's still good
money.
money.
You gotta ship that big fucker too, which that box is pretty beefy.
Oh, I'm sure it's not cheap to ship.
I tell you what, there was all the ones I've seen, I've yet to see a Wonder Woman. And I've yet to see a Batman, so
I think, well, I mean, I know we've already talked it to death, but I think those are really interesting, and people should keep an eye on how they continue to sell.
There are other people specking on those, so
yeah. A lot of people.
The Crypto the Super Dog is the one that's interesting. So
I'm real curious to see once somebody gets a 9.8 what it sells for. I think that'll be a big indication of what the market is like.
Wait, Trey's actually talking about the toys, though, right?
Oh, it's all the same.
I'm just I mean, I'm in
I don't know anything about the comic, but
I mean, the toys came out first. It started with the New York Comic Con. They had an exclusive, and then Target and Amazon. I think Amazon got them before Target, but they started selling these toys. So I don't know if there's one that would be like a first. Probably just the New York Comic Con one, which I think you can still get. But the New York Comic Con one is like, it's more of a clear guy, and it's not like a completed figure. I'm not really digging it. But I could see why the Grey Castle DC Universe homage is going for so much, because again, it's a Grey Castle DC Universe giant thing. So
when toys, you're always looking for the short pack, right? So it's a fable. It's a fable that these toy companies put out like one less or two less per case of certain figures, right?
I don't know. Are they called chases?
Sometimes, or short, I used to see it in Star Wars a lot, where the character's short case, so it doesn't appear as much, maybe one per box instead of like 5,
Yep. Nope, I have boxes. I remember the Transformers when the first movie, when the live action movies came out, they were quite a few short runs on those, and you get one per case. All the others had 3 per case or such and such. So.
Exactly. So I think that's the one you're going to want to look for if you're buying the toys.
By the way, if we got a toy guy out there,
sorry, you're telling me there's chase ones though of these? Because I haven't seen any chases.
No, it's not necessarily chase, but sometimes in toys, what they'll do is they'll put less of a certain figure in the whole case configuration. Right. So then so it gets popular because there's less of them.
Yeah. We'd probably have to have somebody who works at a Target or something and is unpacking these boxes.
Yeah,
that's what I said last week about having an inside source for Walmart. That would be nice to have too, so we could know how many copies of some of these books the stores are getting.
That's a really good point too. I'm curious. I don't think it's as many as people might think, but I could be wrong.
I think Walmart might be a lot more than what people think.
Well, you just got to consider how many Walmarts there are. So, I mean, if you factor that into it, but I'm not sure the stores are getting a vast quantity themselves. But when you factor in the totality and how many there are brick and mortar, I mean, it's pretty significant.
Well, I think the big spec behind those is that there's not going to be a lot of 9.8s because the people who work there just manhandle them.
There are any 9.8s at all are going to be almost impossible. I bought a stack of those, and like I said, there's 2 that might, and they're unpressable because they're thick as fuck, and they're a super cheap paper. So, I mean, it's literally, you're not going to improve upon this much at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it's square bound, so you can't do anything about that.
So unless you worked at Walmart and we're working the periodicals, where the fuck they call that department, and we're putting that stuff out and hid some until after work, and you were able to check them out yourself so that people manhandle them, ugh.
Yeah, I went to Walmart the other day, and they actually had a few of the.
Use a self-checkout if you buy those shit too.
yeah, self-checkout, okay. Sure. Yeah, I actually found a Superman one, and they had a Batman, but it was so trash. That Batman #4 or whatever, it was just trash. And I was like, I'm going to leave this.
Yeah. You know what? I was pissed about it, and then I thought about it, and I was like, there's probably kids like us that were probably waiting for their mom to, pick out groceries and did the same thing and thumb through a Batman like we all did. So I see the purpose of those comics in those Walmarts. I know a lot of people.
I think they're good for the industry as a whole.
The fact that they're different and they're not infringing upon necessarily what retail stores have, in that regard, is I think, is a smart move. But then you can make the argument that they're getting special treatment.
Yeah,
but I mean, those are such a. Really, all they are is to introduce people to things,
but it is new stories though.
Yeah, that is true.
They are new stories. Yeah,
I mean,
some of it, right? Some of it's not.
Well, most of it's reprinted stuff, and then there's 6 pages of new story in all of them.
Yeah,
which eventually is going to be reprinted and offered to stores, apparently, but who knows?
That's good value, right? You get a ton of pages for $5.
Well, the Primal Age one's 10.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's 10.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Target as opposed to Walmart, right? So
True.
God damn Target snobs.
and it's
Yeah,
Funko. It's a Funko type thing.
I've been having better luck finding good blaster boxes at my Walmart as opposed to Targets around here the last few weeks. Seems like they've been stocking theirs and a lot better than the Targets have around here.
Yeah, I think Prism is very highly printed this year, so kind of got to watch out.
Yeah, you noticed that. You said that some of those are slowly starting to go back down. Some of the Prism prices.
Oh yeah, man, a lot of them are coming back down.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's just a lot of them.
Yep, they seem to keep every time I go to a Walmart or a Target, it looks like there's one blaster, and I buy it, and I come back, there's 5 more. Like, some bitch have Skittlepox.
They're restocking like a mother.
All right, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about, it sounds like Ben Affleck is officially out as Batman, and from what I am hearing, this new Batman movie for, well, what do they call it? The Worlds of DC now is going to focus on a younger Batman.
I liked him as Batman. I thought he was a good Bruce Wayne. I had no issues with him as a character. So, I mean, I'm a little sad to see him go, but I mean, it all depends on who they cast him with.
Right. I liked him a lot in Batman v Superman, but I think he was just really phoning it in for Justice League.
Yeah, that was just a weird movie. Like I said, I really want to see Snyder's cut. I really do. I want to see what
it doesn't exist.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think he was far enough into the movie for anything to really be coherent.
Possible. I don't know. I just, like I said, you can just see that there are 2 different movies that they spliced together.
Yeah. Well, it's, I guess the same thing that happened with like Solo. Whenever you have a director change like that.
That's a good point. I have yet to see Solo.
It was all right. It was all right.
Yeah, I started
it
on Netflix and I fell asleep, and I don't think I ever finished it.
It apparently worked for Bohemian Rhapsody, was it? Sorry, I was thinking Bohemian Grove for some reason. It apparently worked for Bohemian Rhapsody.
I mean, as far as box office returns, but I haven't actually seen the movie.
It apparently got nominated for a bunch of awards, and they just took Bryan Singer's name off of the award for some British SAG award. Which, and then the voting's over. So if they're going to take his name off, that means that it probably won.
Yeah, that Bryan Singer had a bad week.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, we all knew.
Yeah, no, he's a shitbag. He's a shitbag.
But I mean, he's still Red Sonja is still happening.
Jimmy, didn't you talk about that like last year?
What? That I didn't think it was ever going to happen because that
Bryan Singer was a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's been known. There's movies about how Bryan Singer, how like people, like he's invested in production companies where everybody else except for him has been arrested for pedophilia and child pornography, but somehow he gets away with it, and it's bizarre. So yeah, it's no surprise that these things are coming forward now again. But whatever.
Yeah. It's sad.
But I don't know. I think the only other thing we had left to talk about was magic stuff. No, we talked about that.
No,
did we have anything else we wanted to go over?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, well, thanks, guys, for joining us. We'll catch you next week. Same time, same day next week.